Welcome back to Low Stress Math with Mrs. Bono. Today you're going to do the independent practice for Lesson 3, Exponents with Negative Bases. That means I want you to stop this video right now and try the problems on page 13. Okay. If you tried them, good for you. That's what you should do. If you didn't try them, the only way you learn math is to do math. You really got to try on your own. Okay, so let's go over the problems. Right. The first problem has parentheses. So I'm going to make it nice and big so you can see it. And we've talked about parentheses and how important they are in math. Yes, they mean multiply, but the other thing they do is glue the negative sign to the base. Now these two problems look very, very similar. They both have what appears to be a -7, but this one has a base that is -7 because it has the parentheses around it, -7, and the exponent is 3. This one, the base is 7, but the exponent is 5. That negative sign really means -1 times 7 to the 5th power. And the same thing is true with number 3. It's the base is 5/10 and the exponent is 2. But it's really -1 times 5/10 squared. Now, those were the level 1 problems. Those are the ones I think everybody should be able to do without any problem. Level 2, a little bit more difficult, requires a little bit more thinking. It says write each in expanded form. That means I want to see all the factors. The base here is -4 because it has the parentheses. So I'm going to use the base -4 as a factor 3 times. So that is really parentheses -4, parentheses -4, parentheses -4. Do I have to solve it? No. Up here, the directions don't say solve, they don't say evaluate, they don't say anything about solving the problem. It's just expanded form. Now this one, that's a very different problem. That is really -1 times 3 to the 5th power. So my base here is 3, but I'm starting with -1 times 3 to the 5th power, so I have to use 3 as a factor 5 times. 2, 3, 4, 5. Look at me double checking to make sure I did my work correctly. Made sure I had 5 3s, and it's -1 times 3 as a factor 5 times. For the next one, the base is n, so it's going to be -2 times n to the 4th power. So it's -2 times, and I'm going to use n as a factor 4 times. That's a level 2 problem. I think almost everybody can do those problems. The key is to remember that without parentheses, it's -1 times the base. Now down here, I have to do 2 things. It's not just expand. It's expand, but also evaluate. And remember, evaluate is kind of like the fancy Nancy word for solve. So I have parentheses around my base. When there's parentheses, the negative is part of the base, and you keep the parentheses. So it's -2 used as a factor 5 times. Oh, I made this almost impossible to read. Look at me making a mess, and I had all this space. Well, now I have -1 times 5 to the 3rd power. The negative without parentheses is -1 times the base 5 used as a factor 3 times. So 5 times 5 times 5. Okay. For the next one, the negative is in the parentheses with the fraction. So that negative is part of the base. So this is going to be -1/2 used as a factor 3 times. Okay. Now I'm all done, right? Now, you know what? I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at my directions. I forgot to solve my problems. The devastation. Okay. I did that on purpose because I know how you think. I think the same way. That's why I go back and I check my work. -2 times -2 is +4. +4 times -2 is -8. -8 times -2 is +16. +16 times -2 is -32. So my answer is going to be -32. And just to really be sure, I'm going to use my calculator. And I'm going to go parentheses, -2. And remember, there's this little caret key here to give me an exponent. So press the caret key and get the exponent 5. And check yourself, -32. -32. Put a little circle around that because it's the answer. Now, if you don't have a calculator and you have a phone, you can use the calculator on your phone. But remember, the calculator on your phone has a button that's x to the y power. So you put the base in first, and if it has parentheses, put parentheses. Put the base in first, press the x to the y button, and then put the exponent and press enter. So you get the correct answer. Now this one, 5 times 5 is 25, times 5 is 125, times -1, -125. -1/2 times -1/2 is +1/4. Negative times negative is positive, times negative is -1/8. And just because I like to check things, I'm going to check those last two answers on my calculator to be sure I'm correct, because there's no reason not to check your work. So for this one, remember, there's no parenthesis. So it's -5 to the third power, which gives me -125. The next one does have parentheses. Parentheses 1/2. Get off of the fraction before you put the parenthesis, and then press the caret button to get 1/2 to the third power, which is 1/8. And now you're looking at it and you're going, bono, 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 bono. You messed it up. There's supposed to be -1/2. Parentheses, -1/2. Gotta check these things before you're done with them, Bono. I know. -1/2 to the third power is -1/8. -1/8. Always check yourself. Okay, this is a review problem, a review word problem. A submarine is cruising at a depth of 340 feet below sea level. If the submarine ascends means goes up. So that is adding. So if I'm ascending, that means I'm going to go up. Plus 76. What is the depth it's cruising at now? Solve and show your work. So depth means negative. So a depth of 340 feet. And below is another word for negative. So -340 plus 7, I'm making it hard to see. -340 plus 76 is another calculator problem. Look at me and my beautiful calculator. -340 plus 76, -264. Now, if I use a word like below sea level, I don't have to put the negative sign. But if I don't use below sea level, I do have to put the negative sign, because below means negative. So when I write my sentence, the submarine is now at 264 feet below sea level. And because I used feet below sea level, because I did that, I don't have to write negative. If I write the submarine is now at negative 264 feet, then I still know it's underwater. All right. The next page is also practice. But I'm not going to go over this right now. I want you, quite honestly, to try pages 14 and 15 on your own. I'm not going to review this until Monday. So do 14 and 15 on your own, and I'll be back going over work with you soon. Good luck, and you can do this. You can do math. Take care.